Say yours. Okay, go.
On Christmas Eve, many years ago, I lay quietly in my bed. I did not rustle the sheets. I came slowly inside. I was listening for a sound a friend had told me I'd never hear, ringing bells of Santa's sleigh.
There's no Santa, my friend insisted, but I knew he was wrong. Late that night, I did hear the sound. Though not a ringing bell, from outside came the sounds of hissing steam and squeaking metal. I looked through my window and saw a train standing perfectly still in front of my house.
It was wrapped in an apron of steam. Snowflakes fell lightly around it. A conductor stood at an open door of one of the cars. He took a large pocket watch from his vest. Then he looked out at my window. I put on my slippers and robe. I tiptoed down the stairs and out the door. All aboard!
The conductor cried out. I ran out my head.
Well, are you coming?
Where?
Why, to the North Pole, of course. This is the Polar Express.
I took his outstretched hand and he pulled me aboard.
The train was filled with other children, all in their pajamas and nightgowns. We sang Christmas carols and ate candy with nougat centers as white as snow. We drank hot cocoa as thick and rich as melted chocolate bar. Outside the lights flickered. In a distance of the Polar Express raced northwards.
Soon there are no more lights to be seen. We traveled through cold dark forests where clean wolves roamed and white-tailed rabbits came from our trains that thundered through the quiet wilderness. We climbed mountains so high it seemed as if we could scrape the moon. But the Polar Express never slowed down. Faster and faster we rode along, rolling over peaks and through the valleys like a car on a road.
The mountains turned into hills, the hills to snow-covered plains. We crossed a burned desert of ice. The great polar ice cap. Lights appeared in the distance. They looked like the lights of a strange ocean line sailing over the frozen sea. There is the North Pole, said the conductor. The North Pole was a huge city, standing alone at the top of the road, filled with factories where every Christmas toy was made. First, we saw no elves. They are gathering at the center of the city. The conductor told us that is where Santa will give the first gift of Christmas.
Who receives the first gift? We all asked.
He will choose one of you. Look, shouted one of the children, the elves.
Outside we saw hundreds of elves as our train drew close to the center of the North Pole. We slowed to a crawl. So crowded were the streets of Santa's helpers when the Polar Express could go no farther. We stopped and the conductor let us outside.
We pressed through the crowd to the edge of the large open circle. In front of us stood Santa's sleigh. The reindeer were excited. They pranced and raced, ringing the silver bells that hung from their harnesses. It was a magical sound like nothing I've ever heard. Across the circle, the elves moved apart, and Santa appeared. The elves cheered widely. He marched over to us and pointed to me, said, "Let's have this fellow here." He jumped into the sleigh. The conductor handed me up. I sat on Santa's knee and he asked, "Now, what would you like for Christmas?" I knew I could have any gift I can imagine, but the thing I wanted most for Christmas was not inside this giant bag. What I wanted more than anything was one silver bell from Santa's sleigh. When I asked, Santa smiled. Then he gave me a hug and told an elf to cut a bell from the reindeer's harness. The elf tossed it up to Santa. He stood holding the bell high above him and called out, "The first gift to Christmas." As soon as we were back in As soon as we were back inside the Polar Express, the other children asked to see the bell. I reached into my pocket, but the only thing I felt was a hole. I had lost a silver bell from Santa Claus' sleigh. Let's hurry outside and look for it.
One of the children said, but the train gave a sudden lurch and started moving. We were on our way home. I broke my heart to lose the bell. When the train reached my house, I sadly left the other children. I stood at my doorway and waved goodbye. The conductor yelled something from the moving train, but I couldn't hear him. What? I yelled at him.
He clapped his hands around his mouth. Merry Christmas. The Polar Express let out a blast of whistle and sped away. On Christmas morning, my little sister Sarah and I opened our presents. When it looked like everything had been unwrapped, Sarah found one last small box behind the tree. It had my name on it. Inside was the silver bell. There was a note. Found this on the seat of my sleigh. Fix that hole in your pocket. Mr. Saban. Oh, shook the bell. It made the most beautiful sound my sister and I have ever heard. But my mother said, "Oh, that's too bad." "Yes, it's broken," said my father. When I shaken the bell, my parents had not heard a sound.
At one time, most of my friends could hear the bell, but as years passed, it fell silent for all of us. Even Sarah found one Christmas that she could no longer hear its sweet sound. Though I've grown old, but the bell still rings for me, and if it does, for all who truly